Hey everybody, one of the common questions that we get is, what are the study tools that you're using? And sometimes in the podcast we'll even talk about the study tools that we use. I think there's one episode where we refer to the study tools that we teach our students when we had a student discussion group. We would have a discussion about how to use tools. And just in general, people will often say like, okay, what are the main tools you're using to study the Bible? Now, the study of the Bible is multi-layered and there's lots of different, am I teaching? Am I preparing for a sermon? Is it personal study? Am I diving in deep? Am I trying to answer a question? Am I on a search? There's no way for me to do a whole video on that, but two of the most commonly used tools that we reference in the podcast and that I use almost just like second nature, like it's a second language, I want to show you today. And so that's what we're going to start working on here, and I'm going to try to figure out if I can do this on video. So come with me. One of the first things I want to show you is, and you likely know about Bible Gateway, but if you don't know about Bible Gateway, it's one of my favorite online concordances to use. I highly recommend getting used to it. And a lot of people use Bible Hub. I won't be using Bible Hub or showing you Bible Hub. I'm not as familiar with Bible Hub. I don't like it. It's just a personal preference. I don't have any reason that I don't like it. I just don't like it as much as Bible Gateway, probably just because of familiarity. I'm used to Bible Gateway. But when it comes to, I can't tell you how many times when I'm studying scripture that I'm either trying to find a verse or I'm asking the question of where have I heard that before? Like where does that word show up before? Or if I'm in the New Testament and I'm reading the Gospels and I'm trying to find, if you've listened to us talk about pardes, what if I'm trying to find a remez? Some Old Testament reference, how do I find that? Where do I go to look? And so, I'm using this tool here. And so it's really super easy. Let's say you want to just look up an idea, love, it's going to show up, 1 Corinthians 13, but then it's going to give you like all the references to love that show up in the Bible there. Right? So there you go. You're learning all about all the places that it's used. Now I'm going to show you something else here too, but this is a quick way to just, Bible Gateway is like my surface level. Like I'm just trying to figure out, especially if I'm used to a translation, what am I here? I'm in the New International Version. I can come over here. I can easily change it. Let's say I want to go to ESV. Oh, there we go. And ESV is going to change that. The verses are going to change, which verses show up because of the translation. So this isn't your Hebrew word love or the Greek words. This is whatever translation you're using in the English that you're trying to find. Oh, I thought that was a verse about, so what's that verse that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Strengthens, where is that? Philippians 4:13, there it is. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Just a great way to find verses, figure out where words are used. I'm going to go back to NIV because I don't like the ESV. So here we are, New International Version. There we go. Now let me show you another example of where I might use this. Let's say I'm listening to Jesus talk about, you can't put new wine in old wineskins. The problem is that the skins are going to burst. First of all, what passage is that? Let's look up new wine. There we go. Matthew 9:16 is where we're going to find new wine. Now immediately you automatically see how much new wine appears in your Old Testament. What a crazy little journey. When you get to the bottom of this list, you're going to go down here, click on more, because that list isn't done. It shows up beyond Isaiah. There we go. All the references to new wine that shows up. But we were looking for Matthew 9:17. You can just go right there, click on full chapter. You're looking for 9:17. So we're going to go to Matthew 9 here. We're going to find verse 17. Neither do people pour new wine into old wineskins. If they do, the skins will burst. Here I can see the whole context of the passage. It's excellent. But now let's say, okay, here it is. I found my passage. I'm studying it. But I have learned from the BEMA Podcast that Jesus rarely teaches anything without having it connected to some kind of Old Testament teaching. So I wonder if there's anything in the Old Testament about wine. And I ask myself, okay, now what is it that sticks out to me? Is it the new wine? We just saw new wine shows up a ton. So that's probably not going to be all that helpful. If I search for new wine, unless I'm just looking for the first mention of new wine. I wonder what the first mention of new wine is. I search for new wine. There's your first mention, Genesis 27. If we're thinking about the law of first mention, the principle of first mention. Here you go. May God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness, an abundance of grain and new wine. I'm betting that's the blessing given to, let's see, which verse was that? Let me go back. That verse was 27:28. So this is the blessing that ends up being given. There it is. He ends up thinking he's blessing Esau. He accidentally blesses Jacob. That's the first mention of new wine in the scriptures. Okay, I don't know if there's anything there that I like. So new wine might not be all that helpful. What's something that's unusual in that teaching? What's something unusual? Let's go back. Can we? Let's go back. Here we are, Matthew 9:17. Wine and wineskins. What is the unusual? What's a word that's kind of unusual in there? I think wineskins is one of the most unusual words that we can have here. Wineskins. Okay, so I'm going to go search for wineskins. I wonder if there's less. Let's see here. Wineskins. All right, we've already come up with less. There you go. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 usages of wineskins in the English. In the NIV, wineskins only shows up 8 times. 4 in the New, 4 in the Old. So now we're really onto something. Okay, I wonder what the remez is for, could it be a reference to the Gibeonites in Joshua 9? Now I'm wrestling with the drosh. What is the remez and what is the drosh? So I'm just able to kind of jump all around the Bible, looking for words, looking for verses, looking for whatever it is that I'm looking for. Job 32. Oh, inside I'm bottled up like wine, like new wineskins, ready to burst. That actually sounds like we could be getting a little warmer there, but why would Jesus be remezing Job? Well, maybe there's some good connections there. Or maybe Jesus is actually remezing Jeremiah 13. Say to them, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, every wineskin should be filled with wine. And if they say to you, don't we know that every wineskin should be filled with wine? And there's going to be this reference to wineskins. What else did Jesus say in that teaching? Can you remember? He said something about a new patch of cloth sewn onto an old garment, because then it tears. If you know anything about Jeremiah 13, you might remember that there's also something about a new linen belt, cloth belt, that he buries in the ground so that it becomes like an old cloth belt. I bet we're probably onto something with Jeremiah. Now, I don't want to do a whole lesson here because I'm already 8 minutes into this thing. What other kind of tools can I get? I want to show you one other tool, and it's Blueletterbible.org. Now, you can get to Blueletterbible.org by just going to Blueletterbible.org, but I actually get to it, and I'm going to put this link in the description of this video. I actually get to Blue Letter kind of through a backdoor entrance. Can't remember where I found this, but I bookmarked it a long time ago, and it's the way that I get into it. Basically, there's your address right there, Elia.com/lexicon. Elia.com/lexicon.html. I'll put that link in the description of this video, but it brings you to this page, and you can find Hebrew words. You can find Hebrew words right here. Like if I just want to find the Hebrew word for strength. Well, there we go. There's all the ideas that might be connected to strength. All right, yeah, all the different entries there. What if I want to, let's see, what about the Greek word for strength? I'll just click on Greek, I'll search. Now it's going to give me some different options for what kind of Greek words might get close to strength. That's cool, okay. But here's where the real magic is. This isn't what I really want to get at, okay. Let's say I want to find, okay, let's say I'm going to go, let's go back to Matthew. Let's go wineskins. I wonder if, so we're going to go to Matthew 9. Matthew 9. And we're going to look at that Greek word for wineskins, okay? So we're going to go down to verse 17. There it is, okay. So now I want to find, you'll notice next to every single one of these words, you have a number. That number is the Strong's entry for the Greek word that is used. So now you can dive in and do some lexicon work. You can do some basic word study, even if you're not a Greek scholar, even if you're not a Hebrew scholar. Now be careful, because this website does not make you a Greek scholar, but this does get you connected to, so let's find wineskins. Where are we at? The King James translated it bottles. How about that? Bottles. Okay, I'm going to click on the number right next to the word here. Here it is right here. If you can see my mouse, I'm going to click on that. And askos. Okay, askos. Basically your definition here: a leathern bag or bottle in which water or wine was kept. There you go. It's a wineskin. Okay, it's going to tell me all the places down here that Greek word. So now this is different. In Bible Gateway, it was about the English word used in the translation. Now we're doing lexicon work, and we're looking at the Greek word and when it's used, because it may be translated differently in your English Bible, but this will tell you every single time that Greek word is used. Now, what this doesn't tell you is the nuances. Actually, it will tell you the nuance to every verb, but the actual usage, the specific, unique usages, you actually have to know a little bit more about your Greek to be able to dive into what's going on here with like a verb. If you want to parse out the verb and the tense and the usage, you have to have a little bit more handles to be able to do that. But this just gives you some basics of when was that word used, where does that word show up. You can even hear the word said. I can click on it up here. Hold on, let's find out.
Strong's G 779, askas.
I've been told by many people that they hate the pronunciation guide on here, but it gives you an idea of what you're working with. So there you go. You can find all kinds of things out about this word. Let's go back though. Let's go back and say we saw 4 usages. Was there 4? Okay, there's the same 4 usages. So your English was good. Gave you the same 4. Let's go to Jeremiah 12. I can actually do that up here. So now we're going to go to Jeremiah 12. Okay. By the way, both these websites also have apps for your tablets or your smartphones. They work slightly differently, but once you're familiar with one, you can navigate the other, and they all do very, very similar things. The Blue Letter Bible app is a little tricky. It's a little nuanced, but once you figure out how to get into it, it's awesome. So let's see, 12. Let's see here. Where was our... Let's jump over here to Bible Gateway and remind ourselves of where we were. Jeremiah 13. I was in the wrong chapter. So Jeremiah 13:12. So we're going to jump back over here. Let's say that you don't have all the numbers. If you notice here, when I go up here to search, all of a sudden all the numbers went away. Right? This is going to be the case if you don't enter Blue Letter Bible from that lexicon gateway that I showed you with the special link. Blue Letter Bible is always going to give you this. So how do you get to the Greek words? I'll show you. Let's go down to 12:13. Let's find the word we want. All right. 13:12, excuse me. There we go. Therefore, speak on them unto this word. Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, every bottle, there's that word, King James translates it bottle again, shall be filled with wine. Okay, but I want to see what these Hebrew words are, so I'm going to go right over here to tools. There's going to be a few things in this tools, by the way. But I'm going to click on tools, and all of a sudden it's going to spread that word out for me. It gives it to me in the Hebrew. This is excellent, right? Masoretic text in the Hebrew, okay? Down here it gives me the Septuagint. There's the Septuagint usage. Excellent, huh? Wonderful. All right. Where's my bottle? Every bottle. Novel. I can listen to that Hebrew word right here if I want to. I don't have to get into it.
Strong's H 5035. Navo.
All right, so now I'm going to click on...
Second entry.
Oh, second entry.
Nevel.
All right. So now let's say I want to get into this. I'm just going to click on that word. This would have been the number right here. This was the number that used to be by the words when we got into it through the lexicon gateway. All right. That was a number that would have been sitting right next to the word. We're going to click on this. It's going to take us to that same entry page. Basically, my recommendation is to get really used to these websites, get used to using these tools. They're incredibly helpful. And the more you use them, and at first it's going to be super intimidating. How do I do anything? Keep pressing in. Listen to me. Keep pressing in. Keep pressing in. The more you use it, the more you'll discover, the more you'll learn. Some of you are going to be better at this than others. That's totally okay. But you'll learn how to use these tools, and they will just open up a whole new world of asking better sets of questions about the original language and what's going on in the Hebrew and the Greek and all that kind of stuff. So here we go, our Hebrew word, a skin bag, a jar, a pitcher. Now let's see, is this the only, in the English, this showed up 4 times in the Old Testament, you remember? 4 times, let's see if it's true in the Hebrew. Does this word show up anymore? Oh, look at that. This word shows up a lot in the Hebrew. So in the English, this word only showed up 4 times as wineskin. However, the same Hebrew word is used, how many times is it used here? 37 times. So it only showed up 4 times in your English translation because it was translated as wineskin, but that same Hebrew word is translated in different ways and is actually used 37 times in your Old Testament. That's super helpful, okay? So there you go. Helps you kind of work your way around. Oh, and here's something I'm even noticing right now as I look at it. Do you remember what the first usage was in your English? It was the book of Joshua with the Gibeonites. Do you remember? Well, guess what? Whatever word is used in Joshua is not even the same word that's used here. It's not even the same Strong's entry. The first word used with this version of wineskin is 1 Samuel. Very interesting. We should go find out while we're here what word is used in Joshua. Joshua 9. So Nabal is the word in the Hebrew there. Now let's see here. I am just searching through here trying to find the word that gets used. Bottles of wine. All right, let's see what word they use for bottles. I'm going to open it up. These bottles of wine. It's a different Hebrew word entirely. Nod, right? Okay. So completely different Hebrew word. Skin bottle or skin bottle. So it means the same thing. The translators translated it correctly into the English, but isn't it helpful to know that the Joshua word and so now, if you really wanted to get crazy, you would say, well, what did they do in the Septuagint? Did they translate it differently in the Septuagint? Or did they combine the usages when they chose their Greek word? Now, if this is like all over your head, that's totally okay. The more you study the Bible, the more you learn, the more these things will make more and more and more sense. But look at this. This word's only used 6 times in the Hebrew Old Testament, in the Hebrew scriptures. So fascinating, always fascinating to study scriptures. This is why I can sit in a Bible study and keep myself busy for hours, just looking at words, looking at usages, trying to find things that are interesting. Opens up a whole world of questions for me. So there you go. Wanted to introduce you to 2 tools that we use, Bible Gateway, Blue Letter Bible. Those are some of the things we recommend to our students and try to teach them. Phenomenal. I hope you learn how to use them. They're really great, and even you can ask good questions about the Greek and the Hebrew and learn all kinds of things. Thanks, guys.